there was noise coming out of my modem just now as I was searching online for the U.S. code. 18 code U.S. section 2511. Interception and disclosure. Wire, oral, or electronic communications are prohibited. Someone has been intercepting my incoming phone calls. I have proof because somebody told me today they tried calling 6 times and the call did not connect. It went nowhere. This is likely why no one has contacted me about the sale of my property, not even a real estate agent, which is bizarre. Real estate agents are usually calling or texting or emailing off the roof, off the charts. I haven't received one. Haven't received one phone call. This is a federal law that's being violated. And I'm just going to scroll down here. This is an impromptu video because we're going to discuss this and I'm going to be filing a complaint. 18 U.S. Code Section 2511, interception and disclosure of wire, oral, or electronic communications is prohibited. Except as otherwise specifically provided in this chapter, any person who intentionally intercepts, endeavors to intercept, or procures any other person to intercept or endeavor to intercept any wire, oral, or electronic communications, intentionally uses, endeavors to use, or procures any other person to use or endeavor to use any electronic, mechanical, or other device to intercept any oral communication when. And let me just stop here a second. I want to get an image to post here so that you're not just looking at nothing. That means that even if it's a law official that allows a neighbor, a paid informant, a contractor, a private contractor, an infraguard, anybody, it's against the law. When such device is affixed to or otherwise transmits a signal through a wire, cable, or other like communication used in wire communication, or such device transmits communications by radio or interferes with the transmission of such communication, sort of like my cameras that are interfered with, such person knows or has reason to know that such device or any component thereof has been sent through the mail or transported in interstate or foreign commerce, or such use or endeavor to use, A, takes place on the premises of any business or other commercial establishment, the operations of which affect interstate or foreign commerce, or B, obtains or is for the purpose of obtaining information relating to the operations of any business or commercial establishment, the operations of which affects interstate or foreign commerce, or such person acts in the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, or any territory or possession in the United States. It does not say United States of America. It does not say the United States Corporation. It just says in the United States. Intentionally discloses or endeavors to disclose to any other person the context of any wire, oral, electronic communication, knowing or having reason to know that the information was obtained through the interception of a wire, oral, or electronic communication in violation of this subsection. And I'm going to say that my telephone has been intercepted. My incoming phone calls have been deliberately intercepted. I know this for a fact, and now it makes perfect sense because I haven't received any phone calls, emails, communications from any real estate agent, which is bizarre. It's one thing to not receive inquiries from people out there actually looking for a home or property. But we all know that when a house goes on the market on the MLS, on Zillow, you get flooded with phone calls from real estate agents. I have not had one. And now I know for a fact that somebody tried to call me 6 times. The call never connected. Okay? So there you go. So this is going to be filed with the state of Kentucky. So all you little effers that are intercepting my phone calls and preventing the sale of my home, preventing me from talking to people, your ass is going to be on the line. Okay? And whoever has been doing this, who's intercepting my personal information, I hope you all rot in hell. And I know for a fact that my neighbors are involved. I know for a fact they're involved. I know for a fact the county lawyer is involved. I know for a fact that you're all involved. Okay? I want to know who's intercepting my phone calls, and I will find out. Okay? So I better start receiving phone calls from real estate agents. I better start receiving the phone calls from people who are attempting to call me. Whoever intentionally discloses or endeavors to disclose to any other person the contents of wire or electronic communication intercepted by means authorized under sections 25112A, 25112B, 25112E, 2516, and 2518 of this chapter, knowing or having reason to know that the information was obtained through the interception of such communication in a connection with a criminal investigation. Having obtained or received the information in connection with a criminal investigation with the intent to improperly obstruct, impede, or interfere with a duly authorized criminal investigation, which, hey, if there's some criminal investigation, guess what? It's coming. I would have need to have been served some information. It shall be punished as provided in subsection 4, or shall be subject to suit as provided in subsection 5. It shall be unlawful under this chapter for an operator of a switchboard, or an officer, employee, or an agent of a provider of wire, electronic communication service, whose facilities are used in the transmission of wire electronic communication, to intercept, disclose, or use that communication in the normal course of this employment while engaged in any activity which is necessary incident to the rendition of the service or to the protection of the rights or property of the provider of that service, except that a provider of wire communication service to the public shall not utilize service observing or random monitoring except for mechanical or service quality control checks. So that means my service provider, Verizon, and that my internet connection here does not have permission. They're against the law violating unless it's for mechanical or service quality control checks. Notwithstanding any other law, providers of wire or electronic communication services, their officers, employees, agents, landlords, custodians, or other persons are authorized to provide information, facilities, or technical assistance to persons authorized by law to intercept wire, oral, or electronic communication, or to conduct electronic surveillance as defined in Section 101 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978, if such provider has been provided with a court order directing such assistance or a court order pursuant to Section 704 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978, signed by an authorizing judge, certified in writing by a person specified in 2518(7) of this title, or the Attorney General of the United States. Who's that now? Pam Bondi? that no warrant or court order is required by law, that all statutory requirements have been met, and that specified assistance is required, setting forth the period of time during which provision of the information facilities or technical assistance is authorized, and specifically the information facilities or technical assistance are required. No provider of or wire of electronic communication service officer, employee, agent thereof, or landlord, custodian, specified person shall disclose the existence of the interception of surveillance of the device used to accomplish interception or surveillance with respect to which the person has been furnished a court order or certification under this chapter, except it may otherwise be required by the legal process, then only after prior notification to the Attorney General or the principal prosecuting attorney of a state or political subdivision of a state as may be appropriate. Any such disclosure shall render such person liable for civil damages provided in section 2520. No cause of action shall lie in any court against any provider or wire or electronic communication services officer, employees, or agents, landlord, custodian, or specified person providing information, blah, 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 in according with the terms of a court order, statutory authorization, or certification under this chapter. Okay, so I'm going to have to FOIA request any court order made by our local judgy pudgy or the magistrate or this piece of crap local county prosecutor, and then it will have to copy the Attorney General, the state of Kentucky, and contact Pam Bondi because my phone is being intercepted. I have not been convicted of a crime. If you want to surveil me, you're trying to prevent me from selling my property, prevent me from having communications with people who are trying to contact me, you have no right to do so. I want a copy of the court order. I want a copy of the court order. I want to know who signed that court order under what auspices. Because you're trying to keep me here, prevent me from selling my property. I told you what's going to happen, you fuckers. If my property doesn't sell this year, you're all getting sued. Individually and in your professional position. Everyone. That's right. And don't worry, neighbors, Ross Murray will not be defending you. I can assure you that would be a conflict of interest. He'll be having to defend his own sorry-ass self. So yeah, all you fucking neighbors who are involved, stealing my mail, helping intercept my phone calls, law enforcement here, the person who is parked on the county road opposite my house as soon as I wake up in the morning, takes off, wipes clean my security cameras. You tell me why I'm under investigation, okay? Tell me why. I'm here 6 fucking years. I want to know who's been investigating the poopynurse.com dropping poopy diapers by my mailbox. I want to know who's investigating the dead animals stuffed in my mailbox. I want an investigation as to who broke into my cat's building and harmed my kitten's eyes. I want an investigation into a man named Ethan who trespassed my property in October 2019 and shot a firearm in front of my house. I want a full investigation into the trespassing, vandalizing of my property. I want a full investigation into Chris Bowles up the block, who has stolen property from me and vandalized my property. I want a full investigation who's dumping the water and vandalizing all of my water catchment units. I want to know who's trespassing my property and burning holes in my trees. Who's raking up my soil, who's raking up under all of my buildings, stealing rock, throwing rock in my garden beds. I want a full investigation. Who tore down my 3 greenhouses? Who's tearing up my fruit and vegetables? And if I find out who's intercepting my phone calls, you will be sued. From here to kingdom come. I don't care who the fuck you are. I better start receiving my phone calls. And all you fucking neighbors that got your little hands in the potty here, you're all been so quiet lately. I know why, you pieces of crap. And don't think I haven't forgotten about you. So here we go. If a certification under subparagraph B for assistance to obtain foreign intelligence information is based on statutory authority, the certification shall identify the specific statutory provision and shall certify that the statutory requirements have been met. I am not affiliated, anyone, anything with any kind of foreign intelligence. I'm a 66-year-old woman who's lived in fucking rural, corrupt Kentucky for 6 years, and I am getting out of this state. This disgusting, surveillance, satanic, abusive, low-class, white trash, trashy, disgusting, low-intelligence people around here that got their little kitties in the pot, stealing from me, vandalizing. I don't care if you're paid informants. Your time, your number is up. And I will expose every last one of you by name every day in the week. Because that's what you deserve. It shall not be unlawful under this chapter for an officer, employee, or agent of a federal FCC in the normal course of his employment and in discharge of monitoring responsibilities exercised by the Commission in the enforcement of Chapter 5 of Title 47 of the U.S. Code to intercept a wire, electronic communication, or oral communication transmitted by radio or disclose the use of information thereby obtained. Okay, why are you intercepting my personal phone calls? People trying to contact me. I better start getting phone calls and emails and text messages from real estate agents across Kentucky and across the United States. Because you're all screwed. You're all fucking screwed. You all screw your own damn selves. While you're vandalizing my property. And no, I'm not going to reduce the price. The price is set at what it is. And it will sell for that price. And if it doesn't, I will divide up the property in little tiny pieces so I will find the best possible person to live next door to my sorry-ass neighbor with the ski mask and the one with the big mouth that types notes and no trespassing signs all over my property. Go back to the county jail where you belong. Keep popping those pills. You'll end up there anyway, surveilling my property. And stay off my property, biatch, by the way. It shall not be unlawful under this chapter for a person acting under the color of law. Oh, you know who those people are. To intercept a wire oral communication where such a person is party to the communication or one of the parties to the communication has given prior consent to such interception. Well, I'm going to tell you fuckers under the color of law, all you pieces of fuck around here under the color of law, you are violating Title 18, Section 241, 242, conspiracy against rights under the color of law, and deprivation of rights under the color of law. And as a result of your violating my rights, you have zero rights to intercept any of my communications. If you've got a warrant, I want to see it in writing. You got a warrant to intercept my personal phone calls? Cough it up. You will be receiving a FOIA request. Okay? So you better get it ready. It shall not be unlawful under this chapter for a person not acting under the color of law, where such a person is a party to communication where one of the parties has given prior consent to such interception. Well, that would mean... Okay. Oh, wait. Let me just finish so that I can finish this. Where one of the parties to the communication has given prior consent to such interception, unless the communication is intercepted for the purpose of committing criminal or tortious act in violation of the Constitution or laws of the United States or any state. My personal communications have zero to do with anything criminal or tortious. It's not in violation of the Constitution, the laws of the United States, to list my property for sale and receive phone calls from people interested in my property, or my personal communications are not subject to this. I'm wondering why my phone's not ringing, okay? I'm wondering why somebody I was expecting a phone call from never called. They tried calling 6 times. Was not connected. Call didn't go through. So I'm just reading through this. It's quite long. Now it's going into all the things that are not unlawful under this chapter. I'm just going to... About a protected the owner or operator of the protected computer authorizes the interception of computer trespassers' communication under the protected computer. The person acting under color of law is lawfully engaged in an investigation. Hey, well, you little fucker... If you're engaged in an investigation about me personally, put it in writing. FOIA is coming, okay? But you still haven't performed the investigation on who stuffed a skinned dead animal in my mailbox. Have you? You haven't performed an investigation on who's throwing trash on my property. Or how about the dogs that run wild in violation of Kentucky dog leash law? You haven't conducted an investigation as to vandalism on my property, have you? The person acting under color of law has reasonable grounds to believe that the contents of the computer trespasser's communication are relevant to the investigation. Oh, really? Well, you've got to tell me what the investigation is. You're investigating who's communicating to try to purchase my property? It's none of your damn fucking business. I own this land. I own this property. I paid for it. I have the deed. I have the title. Mine. Mine, mine, mine. Not yours, yours, yours. I gave no permission to anyone, anywhere, to go into my laptop, any of my communications, my phone communications. I do not consent. You don't have permission. And if I am personally under investigation, you got to cough up the warrant. I want a copy. Next. I want a copy. There's no secret, covert bullshit in little Jackson County, Kentucky. Okay? And then it goes on, and this is why FISA 702 needs to disappear. It needs to be shut down. It shall not be unlawful under this chapter for a provider of electronic communication service to the public or remote computing service to intercept or disclose the contents of a wire or electronic in response to an order from a foreign government that is subject to an executive agreement that the Attorney General has determined and certified to Congress satisfies Section 2523. I'm not associated with any foreign government. And if you attempt to associate me with a foreign government, you're committing fraud. Fraud. Okay? I'm not associated with any foreign government. A person or entity providing electronic communication service to the public may divulge the contents of any communication only authorized in section 2511(2)(a), 2517 of this title, with the lawful consent of the originator or any addressee or intended recipient of the communication to a person employed or authorized or whose facilities are used to forward communication to its destination, which were inadvertently obtained by the service provider and which appear to pertain to the commission of a crime, if such divulgence is made to a law enforcement agency. I'm going to tell you flat out, you little fuckers, it's not a crime to list your property for sale. It's not a crime to interview buyers. It's not a crime to receive phone calls, emails, or communications to sell my legally owned property. So I better start receiving the communications, because again, if my property doesn't sell, you will all be personally sued and in your official capacity sued. Okay? So there you go. And we all know for a fact that my neighbors have already threatened. The Marxes, the Perkies, they've already threatened people who worked on my property. Already. Proof. And we will have no problem calling all of those people that they threatened into the court to testify. That's right. Here in Jackson County, Kentucky. And that's how it works. And also, there are those ham radio operators around here. We did a little research about the people that have ham radio licenses around here. I want to see who they are, what their names are, where they live. And one of them happens to be a stalker. This is somebody who stalked me on the Facebook page, then stalked me on my YouTube channel. He just happens to have a ham radio license also in this town. Just saying. But I'm just some stupid woman from New Jersey. So anyway, this code is extremely long. But let's get to the good stuff here. So the person who's intercepting, violating this chapter, let's get to the good stuff. The person who's violating all this stuff, violating your rights, my rights, the first offense, and such a person has not been found liable in a civil action, the federal government shall be entitled to the appropriate injunctive relief. If violation of the chapter is a second or subsequent offense under paragraph A, subsection 4, if they've been found liable in any prior civil action under section 2520, the person shall be subject to a mandatory $500 fine. The court may use any means within its authority to enforce an injunction issued under this paragraph, and shall impose a civil fine of not less than $500 for each violation of the injunction. And the list is endless. Okay, the list is endless. Now that's not a lot of money. But cumulatively, it will be known that my phone calls are being intercepted. Somebody is intercepting my incoming calls. Somebody is sabotaging the sale of my property. Not only physically, not only with the vandalism, not only filthying it, not only attempting to depreciate the value, which is called real estate property mobbing. It's against the law, by the way. It's against the law. Trespassing. Criminal trespassing. Criminal menace. Littering. Criminal mischief. Illegal entry. Animal cruelty. Pet thefts. The use of directed energy weapons on my buildings. Leaving marks all over the buildings. Deliberately vandalizing. I have more proof coming out of my ears. And you know what? I'm not throwing any more of it away. It's going to stay on the property as evidence. Okay? So, Sheriff, if you've got an investigation going against me, better cough up the warrant. I want to know who's interfering with my phone calls. I want to know who's interfering with the sale of my property. Okay? So you will be receiving a FOIA request for this information. And don't worry. It better come from your office with your signature. I will not accept anything coming from Ross Murray's office. Okay? He, in my opinion, according to the law, according to the order of things, he is under you. Under you. You are above him. Okay? You are above him, so when I submit my FOIA request to your office for the warrants, the investigation, it will come from your office with your signature on your letterhead. Sheriff. Not lawyer. Sheriff. Okay? So anyway, this is Lorraine in Jackson County, Kentucky. My phone calls are being intercepted. They're not coming through to me. They're either being rerouted, disconnected, not connected, but they are being rerouted to someone. They are being intercepted by someone. And I want to know who's doing it. And it better stop. So this is your warning. And I know you're all listening to me right now, right? All you little effers. My property is selling this year. And no, I will not be abandoning it and buying something else at the same time. No, this property will sell. And like I said, I've got a couple of months now. I've already been advised to start filing my lawsuit. My phone calls better start coming in. I'm going to sign off for now.